Yo guys, what's going on? Acez here today with another video. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you some tips on how to find military power filters here in Escape from Tarkov. Do me a favor, make sure you're dropping a like on this one here today, and of course make sure you're subscribing to the channel for more PvE content. So this has been one of the most requested videos lately. How do I get military power filters? They are too expensive to purchase on the flea market. What's the best way to find them? Well, let me give you a flea market tip before I actually give you some in-raid advice on how to get these things. So when it comes to the flea market, sniping these things is actually pretty easy if you know what you're doing. So if you can't find them by typing it in the search bar, go to your solar power and just find them here. That's if there's none on the market. So obviously you don't want to pay 18 to 25 million for a military power filter. I certainly don't. I haven't purchased a single one. The 5 that I do have, I found all of them on reserve, which we'll get into that in just a moment. But to find these a little bit cheaper, maybe around the 2 to 5 million range, if you do want to pay for them, what you need to do is let the market completely dry up. So these need to either be taken down or purchased, and then when there are none out in the market, that's when the average Joe, the Timmy, the casual, he doesn't know what to list these things for, so he's going to list it for 2 million rubles because he thinks that's a pretty decent price to list the item for. You have to take advantage of the people who don't know they have a great item, and unfortunately, that's just the way Tarkov's always been. 6 million for this one right here if you wanted to go ahead and purchase that one, which it did get purchased instantly, which honestly, I'm not surprised. But if you sit here and refresh, you can find some deals. People aren't going to pay the massive fee on the military power filter when you are listing them this high. I honestly don't know why they're being listed this high, but they are. It's just how it is. So as you just saw right there, it is completely possible to get them way cheaper than the 15 million plus price tag on them. But you do have to be patient and you do have to refresh for a while. But, you know, getting 10 of them for 60 million is a lot cheaper than 180 million. As for actually finding these things in raid, I do actually have some tips for you when it comes to playing on reserve. Reserve is the map you're going to find these things on. I do believe it is possible to find them on customs at the Giving Tree and at the old gas station desk. And I also think you can still find these military power filters on every single map in duffel bags and tech supply crates. Could be wrong on that. Feel free to correct me down in the comments below, but I do believe they spawn in those two containers. But on reserve, they will spawn in pretty much everything. They should spawn in jackets, they'll spawn in duffel bags, they'll spawn in toolboxes, on scavs. So like I said, I do think you can find them on other maps, but I have found all 5 of mine on reserve so far. So just keep that in mind. They are much more likely to be found on reserve. But there are 2 other methods that work pretty damn well when it comes to finding these things. And the first one actually isn't on reserve. It's going to be in your hideout. It's going to be the scav case. So when it comes to the scav case, in my opinion, it's pretty much a money sink, and 9 times out of 10, it's not profitable unless you're giving the scavs 2,500 beans. But if you do want a chance at finding those military power filters out of here, the intel is gonna be your best bet. If you're using your intel, you can pretty much get one of these done every 2.5 hours. So that'll give you, if you're playing Tarkov pretty consistently, you know, 3 to 5 chances per day if you are spending the money on intel to try and grab one of these things. Now, it is a pretty rare chance, but intel is pretty cheap. And at this price, the Intel scav case is almost always profitable as well. It just takes a long time. And that's the only reason I don't do it over the 2500. The 2500 is profitable every single time. I was thinking about making a video on it, but the profit is just so low that I don't know if people would really want to see that. If you do, let me know in the comments. But, you know, I can knock out a ton more of these than I can in one Intel, and I really don't need money, so I just enjoy the cheap gamble in the scav case. So you can try your luck with the scav case. I have heard reports that the 95k option does occasionally drop them, but the intel is 100% gonna be the best bet for you and having a chance at the military power filter. So let's hop into the best way to get military power filters in my personal opinion. It's not looting on reserve. It's not the scav case. It is killing Gluhar's guards, and then after that, it is killing raiders. So Gluhar's guards, I have found 3 of my 5 military power filters on the guards, and I found one of my 5 on a raider in the bunker. The other one that I have, I do believe was loose loot in one of the military spawns, but I could be wrong on that. I can't remember exactly where I got the first one that I ever got. It was the first one, and I believe it was loose loot in the power room to turn on D2, just in those military shelves. But I just can't fully remember, so I'm not going to say exactly how I got that one. But 4 of my 5 have been on a raider or guard. And that means to me right out of the gate that they have an increased chance to have them on their body. Now, I've only killed Gluhar 5 times. So that means the odds have to be pretty decent if I have found 3 out of the 5 times that I've killed Gluhar and crew. So there's not really a way to guarantee Gluhar spawning, but if you're just spamming reserve, you should eventually get Gluhar to spawn, and when you do, you're going to have 4 to 5 guards to kill, and that's 4 to 5 chances that it'll be on those guards. I think, in my opinion, the best way to farm, if you want to call it farming the military power filters, is just going in reserve over and over and over. The moment the raid starts up, listen for those grenades. Listen for the constant shooting. If you're hearing that stuff right out of the gate, it's a really good chance that Gluhar is actually on the map. If the raid is completely dead, if it's completely silent, typically that means Gluhar is not there, and you can probably reset. Now, if you really want to check everywhere, you can check all his spawns. You can check everywhere if you want, but honestly, I think the audio cues are easily the best way to know if Gluhar is on the map. But yeah, guys, unfortunately, I don't have like a super solid method for you when it comes to going in a raid and getting one every single time. But just try that out, start farming some reserve, and hopefully you can grab yourself 1 or 2. Make sure you're looting everything too. Don't just run right for Gluhar in the crew. Don't run for the raiders. Don't just run right to D2 right away. Like, loot a little bit. Loot some of those duffel bags and stuff. Try and give yourself every possible opportunity to get one of those things, because you need 10 of them. If you want to snipe them off the flea market, fine, but it's always going to help you finding them in raid. It will not hurt, because they are one of the most sought after items right now in PvE Tarkov. Do me a favor, make sure you're dropping a like, and of course make sure you're subscribing to the channel for more PvE content. I will see you in the next one. I'm out.